Yeah.
Hey everyone, it's finally time to talk about this past Barbenheimer weekend, of course, starting with Barbie, directed by Greta Gerwig, starring Margot, Robbie, Ryan Gosling, America Ferrera, Kate McKinnon, Issa Rae, and so many other people in this film. This ensemble cast is absolutely insane, and of course, so much hype going into this. I mean, right off the bat, I gotta say, I've really liked what Greta Gerwig has done as a solo director throughout her entire career. I love Lady Bird, which is surprised I wouldn't even made my top 10 of that year. It was such a great year. And Little Woman I really enjoyed as well. I thought that was a really great adaptation of that novel. And, you know, I've really respected her as a director. I think she has such a unique voice in this industry. And so I was really looking forward to Barbie, because obviously a lot of people were accusing her of selling out, and I think that's a bit of an unfair criticism. But as you know, like I figured with her writing with Noah Baumbach, her partner there, I figured that this was going to be quite a complex breakdown of the Barbie character, and was really looking forward to the meta humor as well going into this. So I never doubted Gerwig for a second in that sense. This is one of my most anticipated movies of the year, if you remember, as it was for so many people, because I don't think we'll ever see any marketing I guess not strategy, but you know, just the contrast between these two polar opposite films coming together is like this sort of cultural event. I mean, I've never seen anything like this in my years of movie going, and yeah, I don't know if there will ever be anything like it again. It's winning big at the box office. I'm really happy for the cast and crew for that. But let's get into what I felt about the film. And right off the bat, I'm going to say that the production design in this film is absolutely spectacular. This should win the Oscar. Nothing should even come close. The way they create these Barbie dream houses on these sets is absolutely incredible. Like, it really feels like this is a playset come to life. And just the very cartoony, toyish build of this world, quite literally, is so indicative of the tone of this film, which for the first 20 minutes of this film I was absolutely loving. It really reminded me of the best parts of the Lego movie, the really self-aware meta sense of humor about this, you know, toy brand that's been so well known for years, and kind of playing around with the property itself. But yeah, I mean, they literally ran out of pink paint. There was a pink paint shortage during the making of this film, and I think that deserves an Oscar alone. Really, I don't think nothing beats that. Same thing with costume designs. The costumes they come up with these characters are so vibrant, so unique, so many moving pieces, quite literally. It really is incredible what they achieve from a technical standpoint in that sense. And of course, when it comes to the very campy humor of this film, I think, as I said, for the first part of this movie, it works so well. And I think the way they play around, I mean, this was ballsy from Mattel to let a filmmaker just go hog wild with their property and make fun of a brand that's been so controversial for over 60 years when it comes to, you know, ideal body image, so many other things. It really was a big risk, and I give a lot of respect to them as a company, because I think most people would just care about the marketing more than anything else and how their brand is perceived. But they really gave Gerwig and Baumbach here free range to kind of like poke fun of everything in their arsenal, and I think that really benefits this movie greatly. I think this film is hysterical, sometimes in a really dumb sort of way, but I think those moments that really hit made me enjoy this movie as much as I did. But that comes at a fault, because I'm going to be honest, why are you all saying this is one of the best movies of the year? It really isn't. And I think a lot of that has to do with the script, okay? First off, I think this script, it doesn't make any sense, you know, because it's kind of a fish out of water story, but it kind of isn't. And I think the way they move between Barbie Land and the real world does not make any sense at all. And my biggest problem is they keep that campy tone throughout the entire movie, which I suppose for consistency makes sense. But when you get to, like, the scenes at Mattel with Will Ferrell, which I was so confused by that whole segment, it does not work at all. I really don't think it does. And it's just very, well, I mean, I'll get more into it, but it's just very clumsily handled, I felt. You know, considering a director that has as much depth as Gerwig has, I really expected more from her in the story. But also, I just think, you know, because this is the thing that, okay, for instance, speaking of another Will Ferrell movie, the reason Elf works so well, you get set up with the North Pole, this kind of mystical, magical land, and then you get to the real world, and you get that stark contrast of realism, which makes the humor so funny. And I understand that wasn't entirely what this movie was going for, but I had wished that this film took that type of approach to the material, because the world building would have made a hell of a lot more sense. And yeah, and there's so many confusing things with it too that just don't make sense at all outside of them just jumping between the worlds, and I really don't want to get into it, but I think it was very, very sloppily thought out. And I also have to say real quick that this script, I don't know why the hell people are saying this is one of the best scripts of the year. It's not. It really isn't. It comes off to me as a very heavy-handed lecture on third-wave feminism and the patriarchy. And these are topics I do appreciate, mind you, but I think could have been approached in a much more subtle way. And instead of feeling like a Twitter thread being shouted at you the whole time. Like, I get this. Like, there's a whole monologue given by America Ferrera, who's really good in the movie. It's nice to see her in a film. But it's like, yeah, I mean, I can't disagree with you, but, like, I mean, I know. Like, what are you saying that's new here? And I really don't think Barbie is saying anything new in that sense. And just really crams these ideas down your throat in a very heavy-handed and... yeah, it just doesn't really work. I really don't understand why people are taking to this, because there's no sense of nuance whatsoever. And with social commentary, I want more nuance than I do just regurgitating the same ideas with no amount of substance at all to them over and over and again. And so that's my biggest problem with these movies. I think really prevents me from a film that I would have loved if these issues had been balanced out a bit better. But, I mean, still, there's so much to love here, especially the performers. Margot Robbie as Barbie is absolutely perfect, as you'd expect. And I think she really has a legitimately great arc in this film, and I think is why you are invested in this film. There's a scene near the end of this movie that I think is really quite impactful, despite all the nonsense that happened before it. I think it does really work. Ryan Gosling is also perfectly cast as Ken. Now, do I think he deserves an Oscar nomination? I don't know. I mean, I don't understand why people are saying he's one of the front runners. I think there's one scene in particular where I can see why, but yeah, I mean, he's given a lot to do here. He's really funny. I think he steals a lot of scenes he's in, but I just don't put it on that level. And I think it's a bit overhyped in the sense, like this whole movie. And yeah, I mean, everyone, you can tell though, they're having so much fun. They're having a blast. So many great faces to see here. Issa Rae, obviously. Simu Liu. It's nice to see him outside of something that's not Shang-Chi. Kingsley Ben-Adir is also really funny in this. I mean, there's a lot of people who really are just having a blast with this movie, and I just love the interactions with them in the Barbie world. It's really, really phenomenal. And also, Michael Cera as Alan. Oh my goodness. I'll tell you, every time he was on screen, I was laughing my ass off. He was like one of the best parts of the entire movie, and his character, and just the way they play around with the concept of Alan himself. It's just absolutely hysterical. And I really think that's why I had so much fun with this movie, because of the very clever self-referential humor. And the cast, you could tell, are having the time of their lives. The set designs, the costumes. It is an immaculately made film, and it's obviously made from a director with a vision. But yet again, it's just like, for instance, when they go to the real world, all the guys are just absolutely horrible. Catcalling them, physically groping Barbie. It really is like, is every single guy like that? I mean, come on. It's so unrealistic in the sense in the way it's presented. And I really did not like it. It's not like it's an attack on men. Like, I never felt personally attacked. But I just felt like it could have been handled with a lot more care. And it could have made something really, really, delicate and thought-provoking with it. And it really isn't. It's very shallow in so many ways. But I give Greta Gerwig and Noah Baumbach a lot of credit for reinventing the idea of what Barbie truly means to so many people, while still really like tackling these ideas that have been kind of criticized for all these years about the brand itself, and still creating a loving commercial for the brand, and really, I mean, selling, getting people in those seats, man. I mean, it is just incredible what this has been built up to be, to a fault, obviously, because I really think this movie is way overhyped in so many ways, but still, I really appreciate a lot of what is on display here. And yeah, I'm going to give this a 6.5 out of 10. It's not a great movie. I don't know why y'all are saying it is, but if you enjoyed it, I'm really glad you did, at the very least. I just don't think this deserves to be nominated for Best Picture or anything like that, because I'm sorry, I really don't think it's one of the best movies of the year, and should absolutely not be nominated for a Best Adapted Screenplay nomination. So I mean, well, time will tell. I mean, let's even see what happens with these strikes first, and see what ground they cover. But of course, let me know what you guys thought of Barbie. Would love to hear it nonetheless. We can have an interesting conversation about it in the comments below. And of course, smash the like button, subscribe to the channel. Obviously, more movie reviews coming, especially Oppenheimer, which I cannot wait to talk about probably in the next coming day or so. And of course, once again, you got to smash the like button, subscribe, like I said already. Can't stress it enough. And yeah, until the next video, I'll talk to you guys later. Take it easy now.